Okay, using Zoom to record this, I'm going to show how to make a composite image based on a still video, a still camera video. The important part about doing composite images is that the camera has to be in a fixed position. So I've got my video here to 1 minute and 46 seconds. The sequence that I want to record and show motion for in a still image starts at 1:47, which is here where the kite does an outside loop. Followed by a small loop on the other direction. And I'm going to try to capture that to make a still composite image from. So we'll go back to 1:46. And this is going to be my first frame. So I do a screen capture and I paste it into, I use PaintShop Pro. You can use Photoshop, anything that's layers aware. So my first one I'm going to paste as an image. And now I want to capture my second frame. I'm just going to make sure that the kite, which is going to be the featured object, does not overlap itself. So I go, so this will be my second frame. So again, print screen. And then I will paste this as a new layer. Again, repeat, print screen, get a new layer. We're going to probably do about 10 to 12 layers on this. Print screen. And I'm just pasting it in as a layer each time. Print screen. Print screen. I may have some extra layers in there. We'll clean that up if necessary. And then here at the bottom, I'm going to intentionally leave some overlap so I can show you how to fix that as well. And this will be the last frame and will be the first frame that we will work with. So now I pasted that as a new layer and I will go ahead and blow this up so we can all see. So as you can see, as I step through the layers, there's 17 layers plus the black background. You see almost a stop frame motion of what's going on. And I did paste that one too many times. So just a mental note, those two layers won't be duplicated. Okay. We'll restore opacity to all of these, view all the layers, and we'll start with the very, very front layer. So I'm going to call the kite here the feature object each time. We take and we go just as tight as we can because we know this area is going to have some overlap. We outline the feature object. A little bit of feathering is important. Then we will reverse our selection, invert. And now when we delete everything except the feature object, you will see the next frame appear. The tighter you have your selection here with the overlap, the better it will look here. You can zoom in and see there's just a little bit of a shadow of the overlap frame. So now we will go to the next layer. Select none, and we will go the selection process again. Now I'm going to go all the way to the end where the shape of the kite is there. Invert, and once again, delete everything else. Go to the next layer and repeat. It doesn't have to be perfect, but the closer you get your selection, the less you'll have to erase and clean up later. Now, as you can see, that object that I'm going to be working with now is going to be behind several layers. So I will go ahead and select that layer, but I will hide the other layers in front of it so I can deal with the one object. And when you're dealing with overlapping objects, that's when it's important to be very, very close within the bands of the feathering so it doesn't cause you too much overlap. Invert my selection. Of course, I could use hotkeys to do this, but I prefer this method. Delete everything except selected, and you will see the next item show up. So once again, I don't know if I want to use this particular frame or not, so I will go ahead and hide that frame and go to here. And that's if you got a frame that you don't like, that you don't want to use, you can always just hide it. I'm going to hide that one, skip over it, and go to this. This is my prior frame. Again, select none. Do my selection. Now, as I'll call your attention this time when I delete everything else, you'll notice that the trees and other things in the background that are moving with the wind still move slightly, but I'm deleting so much of the image and only keeping the featured object that it doesn't matter in the final product. So. And I know there's no overlap here, so I don't have to be quite as specific because very little of the clouds move during that amount of time. And the feathering covers whatever motion is there. And if I'm not mistaken, this is the one that I've got too many of. Okay, so layers 7 and 8 are duplicates, and I won't be using those. So now I'm working here with layer 6. And here I'm going to get into an area where there's going to be a little bit of overlap on the next frame, and we'll decide what we want to do there once we see what it looks like. As you can see, this frame is going to be behind the other one. And I'm just going to zoom in so I can just do my selection a little more precisely. And again, as you can see, the overlap creates this little halo around. That's why we're using the feathering. But that is our background layer. So if we wanted to, we could go in with the eraser and clean this halo up, but it does not detract from the picture. So here's our finished item. I've just taken crop.